Boo. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the vlog. It is 11:29. I've been up for a good few hours now doing some work. To be honest, like, I'm working on this project. I can't really say much about it, which I know is annoying. But yeah, it's stressing me out big time. But we are getting there, making moves, and it is gonna be unbelievable. So I'm about to upload a YouTube video now. I'm gonna upload, you've definitely seen it by now. It is the date night one, the healthy burger and chip recipe. I think it's gonna be a hit. I'd click on it anyway. That's how I judge my videos. I look at the thumbnail and I'm like, yeah, I'd click on that. Sometimes I'm very wrong though, my video does shit. But that's the way it is, isn't it? Actually, let me show you like the process behind uploading a YouTube video. Alright, so this is the video here. As you can see, it is on private. You have to give it a like yourself just to get things going. So you go to edit video. You like double check the description here, the recipe, the title, just to make sure that there's no like typos or anything like that. I usually go to this end screen and annotations and make sure that these elements are added at the end. So that's the subscribe button that you can press, and that will give you a link to another video. And then when that is all done, you go back to info and settings, and you go from private, hopefully you can see this, private to public, and then you press publish. And then on Instagram, I always change the link in my bio. So delete the old one, paste in the new one, and then change this here. I don't know what I'll say. Healthy burger and chips recipe, maybe? And there we go. Boom. Alright, so that is that ticked off the list. I'm gonna go get freshened up now and get ready for the gym. So I'll see you in a bit. Should I go gym soon? Yeah. Get up, you lazy shit. Alright, we are here. Full session about to go down. Let's do it.
No.
Alright, disaster struck. I won't be naming names or anything, but somebody dropped my camera in the gym. It's fucking broken. So I had to rush home, get another camera sorted. And yeah, we're heading back there now. So yeah, these things happen, you know. Let's just get on with it. Pull day, let's do it. Yo everyone, what is going on? Welcome to my pull session. So I'm starting off the session with some lat pull downs, and here I am doing a warm-up set. And during my warm-up sets, I always like to include little pauses at the bottom of each rep, and I just find that little kind of second gives me a chance to squeeze and activate my lats and basically gets that mind muscle connection going before my working sets. Okay, so next up we are moving on to the working sets, and I'm doing 4 cluster sets of 5 at 95 kg, which is about 20 kg above my body weight. So I'm really trying to increase my strength on these at the moment, because I've never really properly focused on increasing my lat strength before. And I kind of came to like a stalling point with this exercise when I was doing them at higher reps, because you know, I just wasn't strong enough to progress. So hopefully this little block of strength work will benefit me in the long run. Oh, and I want to explain cluster sets really quickly as well, and why I am using them. So a cluster set is basically a set with a very short rest period in it. So at 95 kg I can't do like 5 good straight reps yet. So instead I'm doing 4 reps, taking a 20-second break, and then doing the final rep. And then the goal over the next few sessions is to basically decrease that 20-second rest period little by little until it becomes 0 seconds, and then I can do the 5 reps in a row. Alright, so next up we have 4 sets of 8 on this lat pull down variation, and this exercise is a bit of a hybrid between a lat pull down and a seated cable row. So I would actually usually move on to the seated cable row now, but the seated cable row has given me so many problems in the past, whether it be in my shoulder or my back. You know, the exercise just doesn't seem to agree with me, but this exercise here doesn't give me any problems at all, and it's a really similar movement. So I've decided to sub out the cable row and sub in this exercise instead, and here I am focusing on using my biceps as little as possible, and I'm doing that by pulling the cable towards the lower part of my chest. If I was to do the opposite and pull it towards my upper chest, then that would require a lot more bicep work, because I would have to bend my elbows a lot more to get it to that position, and hence, you know, that would take a little bit of tension off my lats and my upper back, and that is obviously not what we want, because they are the muscles that we are really trying to work during this exercise. Oh, and I also find it, you know, really helpful holding the very top of the attachment, as you can see that I'm doing here, because it makes it a lot easier to pull the cable towards that lower position, which is what we want. So definitely give that a go. Okay, so next up we are moving on to upper traps and doing 4 sets of 10 on the dumbbell shrug. And as you can see, I like to introduce like little pauses at the bottom and at the top of each rep, because I think, you know, it can be really easy to let momentum take over this exercise, especially when you are pushing yourself and going heavy, and these little pauses obviously prevent that. And another issue actually with this exercise can be grip, and sometimes I struggle like to hold onto the weight on the final couple of reps, and I feel it, you know, slipping out of my hand. So if that happens to you too, then I definitely recommend investing in some chalk, some liquid chalk, or even some straps, so you can really secure that weight in your palms, because you don't want your grip to be a limiting factor and to prevent you from growing them Tom Hardy traps. Alright, so next up we are moving on to biceps, and just like my tricep exercises on my push days, I like to change them up from workout to workout just to keep things interesting. So the first exercise that I chose today was 3 sets of 12 on the one arm dumbbell preacher curl, and this is a great exercise to really challenge your bicep in its lengthened position, which is basically at the bottom of each rep when your arm is fully outstretched. So be sure not to cheat this exercise and only come down like halfway or 3/4 of the way or something like that. Fully extend your arm and fight out of that bottom position. And I like to do one arm dumbbell preacher curls instead of 2, so I can really secure myself into the preacher curl bench and tuck my armpit right into the pad. And for my second and final bicep exercise, I chose to do 3 sets of 10 on the cable hammer curl. And the hammer curl is a great way to emphasize the brachialis and the brachioradialis muscles, as well as the biceps. And these are basically upper arm and forearm muscles that contribute to the overall size of your arms. So with these, I always like to tuck my upper arms right into my body and introduce a little pause at the top of each rep, so I can really focus on squeezing my bicep. Oh, and the set you are looking at here is my final set, and on my final set of biceps I always like to do a drop set just to get in that extra bit of volume. Alright, so next up we have 3 sets of 12 on the half kneeling cable face pull, and I like to do these in a half kneeling position because I feel like I can really like get behind the weight from that position, and I feel a lot more secure in comparison to doing them standing. So I'm doing a few things here to really try and hit my upper back and rear delts. So I'm focusing on pulling the rope apart and backwards as much as I possibly can, and I'm ending in a position where my hands are above my shoulders and in line with my head. So pull the rope backwards, pull it apart, and end with your hands above your shoulders to really hit both of them areas. Okay, so next up we are moving on to 3 sets of 10 on the bent over cable reverse fly to hit them rear delts again. So rear delts are a big focus of mine at the moment because I'm really looking to increase the overall size of my shoulders. So I'm looking after my front delts and my side delts on my push days and my rear delts on my pull days. So with this exercise I am bending over so my upper body is parallel to the ground, and I am forcing my elbow backwards
until my upper arm is in line with my body. And it's important that you don't bend and straighten your elbow throughout this exercise, because that will only get the triceps involved, and that is obviously not what we want. So as you can see, I like to keep a slight bend in my elbow throughout the exercise, and then just focus on forcing it backwards to activate them rear delts. Oh, and the rear delts are like a relatively small muscle, so unless you have like incredibly strong rear delts, you will most likely only be able to use a really light weight on this exercise to maintain good form. So don't go worrying and getting all insecure about your rear delts. They are just not designed to handle huge loads. And last but not least, we have 3 sets of 12 on the cable ab crunch. So people usually throw in abs on leg day, but leg day is tough enough for me as it is, so it just suits me better to do them on pull day instead. And although, you know, you should never neglect your abs, you should never neglect ab training, having visible abs largely comes down to your body fat percentage. So if shredded abs is something that you really want, then think less along the lines of doing loads of exercises for your abs and more along the lines of trying to lose some body fat so they become more visible. So I really like the cable ab crunch because it allows you to fully extend your back a lot more than you could if you were doing a normal crunch on the ground. So you basically get a really good stretch and overall contraction. Oh, and it is like so important to focus on all of the movement coming from extending and curling your back like I am doing here, as oftentimes people forget to curl their back on the way down, and hence they lose out on a lot of ab activation. So for each rep, extend your back and then curl your upper body up into a little ball.
Alright, so it is 19:44, 7:45. I'm just about to have some dinner, so I'm gonna heat up some ham, some potatoes and some cabbage as well. Such a mammy dinner. But yeah, today has been so hectic. Like, oh God, I'll fill you in after my dinner. But yeah, let's talk about what happened today. So, oh God, yeah, so we were in the gym earlier. I think I'd done one warm-up set, and I went over to like talk to one of my friends, and then I just heard this bang, turned around, and my brother had dropped my camera, which is not ideal. Went over and it was completely broken. I'll show you now. So he dropped it on the lens, and that is the end result. This is what happens when you turn it on. Lens error will shut down automatically. Restart camera. Piss off. But yeah, so we left the gym. Rang around a few places, seeing like what the story was, if anyone could fix it. Had no joy for absolutely ages. It's like really hard to find a place like that does camera repairs and lens repairs. I don't know. But yeah, we eventually found one, and I'm gonna bring it in to somebody tomorrow morning, I'd say. And it looks like I definitely need a completely new lens. And you know, it's not even the money that's annoying me the most. So a new lens will probably cost, I don't know, like €200, maybe €170. But the worst thing about it is that it's gonna take 3 full weeks to like order the lens in and all that stuff, which is just so crap. Like so crap. And because I was talking about that project earlier, and like having a camera for that is essential, and just for vlogging and taking pictures and stuff, like no camera kind of just puts me not out of business, but you know what I mean. It's like a big part of me. So yeah, that was like the worst thing about hearing that news. But yeah, luckily enough, my brother came through, who actually felt like really bad for, by the way. Like, you know, it could have happened to anyone. He dropped my camera, and he was doing me a favor, and yeah, no, I could tell he felt really bad as well. So it was just a terrible situation. Wanted to like say it was alright, but wanted to like punch him in the face at the same time. But yeah, he got onto one of his friends who luckily enough has this Sony a5100 that I'm recording on now. They were like kind enough to let him borrow it for the next couple of weeks. Well, let me borrow it for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, and it's a pretty good camera, so you know, it could be worse. You know. But yeah, very eventful day, I have to say. I actually do want to say as well that I did my best to rescue it. So even though I was like so like like discouraged by the whole situation. When we got this camera, I was like, oh, come on, let's do it. So we went to the gym, recorded the session, and then I came home and just did my work and just tried to put it to the back of my head, you know, because I know, like, from previous experience, when like something like really bad like happens or something goes wrong, that if I let it get on top of me and ruin the rest of my day or anything like that, then it's just gonna make me feel worse. So yeah, I always just have my 10 or 15 minutes where I'm like, oh, like, fuck everything. And then I just try and get on with it, you know? And yeah, it turned out to be an okay day, apart from that. But yeah, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Sorry for ending on such a somber note. But yeah, tomorrow's, or the next vlog is going to be my leg day. I'm going to be recording it tomorrow. So I'll fill you in on the camera situation in that vlog, let you know. Yeah, basically what the camera person says, you know. And then record an epic leg session. My leg day is really, really good. For once, I am always looking forward to legs. Like, I'm looking forward to legs right now, and I'm going to be like pissed off as well. And that might make it even better, I think. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't you